Let's switch over to that. Now, just to make sure. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Now we're going to end this one.
To the left.
Crop that down. Okay. Now, let's see if all of it is working correctly.
I'm coming.
And it should be changing over now. Yep. Okay. Good deal. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jose Hall Show. Now, before I get started, we're going to just say hey to everybody, right? So, if you come by the chat, feel free to say hi and welcome yourself in and kick your feet up and enjoy the day. Well, night now, because I was going to do this earlier, but we had some things going on, and so I had to take care of those things before I got started. Now, there's a lot going on over the past couple of days that I've been off. We're going to touch on a couple of those topics, probably not too far into them, but we will touch on them just a little bit to kind of get your opinions on the events that are going on. Now, what was y'all's day like, right? What was your day like? Now, hold on one second. These errors always pop up whenever, because there's errors that back up on my stream. So hold on, give me 1 second. Let me just clear these things out, just so that I can get that all set up right. Now, what we got here? No, that looks good. All right, no. Hold on, close and go back. No, it's still there. All right, it should go away. All right, so now, like I say, you already know how this show's going to go. This show's going to go in any direction, and it's just because I enjoy the conversations with y'all, right? So because we can go in any direction, there's no telling where we're going to end up by the end of the day. Now, like I said, I'm going to touch on a few things that's going on in the world right now. Now, I'm not too concerned about certain topics as much as I am about other topics, but the focus, like I said, for today is just expressing ourselves. So today, I had an okay day today, right? I have a headache, like super bad headache. Like I get headaches all the time. They come, they go. Sometimes they're a little more crippling than others. Sometimes they are functional headaches, but they're there, right? And I don't want to like shovel down painkillers trying to suppress the headache, because whatever's causing the headache, it once it figures itself out, it'll figure itself out. So I don't want to focus too far into that, because there's really no big deal, right? I'm not too concerned. But so, like I said, you're on the Jose Hall Show, where anything is possible. Everything is open for discussion. And if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but I mean, sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes we have to get our feelings hurt. I'm no exception. Sometimes I might hear information that I don't like. Whatever, right? It's whatever. Why should we get so worked up over some of the smallest things? such as like someone's opinion, right? Because someone's opinion is their own. Now, will I respect it? Of course, I'm gonna respect it to an extent, right? Because that's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to come here and express yourself, right? Now, right now, I was looking at some of the current wars that we have in America, right? So these are wars that we are actively participating in, right? Now, so I was looking over and I wanted to see how many active things that we have going on. So I went down to Wikipedia and I went to look and see how many active deals are we currently in right now. So in the process, I found a few of them that we are currently in. Now it has the start date and end date, right? So say for instance, like the Iraq war started in 2003 and ended in 2011. Now, some would say that we're still technically in that one because it was the war on terror and stuff like that. But officially, it says that it ended in 2011. Now, but we do have one that is present. It's from 2004. And it is part of the war on terror, and that is the war in northwest Pakistan, right? So we have that one, and it started in 2004, and it is present, right? So that is currently still going on at this moment. And we have another one. It says second U.S. Intervention in the Somali Civil War, right? And that started in 2007, and that is still present. Now, so it says part of the Somali War, Civil War, which started in 1991, right? So that particular fight has been going on since 1991, and that is crazy, right? I mean, the fact that there's been fighting for that long, and still no solution has been found, is crazy, right? Now, before I click, I didn't want to click on it yet because I didn't want to click on it and take me to another option because I was just looking at a couple of the things that are going on, right? Now, for instance, we actually have another one going on. This will be the third war in the Middle East that is going on that is current, right? And this one is called the American-led intervention in Iraq, right? And so this is part of a couple of different ones. It says Operation Inhabited Resolve. Yeah, Inherited. Oh, Operation Inherited Resolve. The Iraq Civil War. The spillover from the Syrian Civil War. The War on Terror. And the International ISIS campaign. So there's quite a bit going on in that particular fight. So we're up to 3, right? And this says it started in 2014 and is still present now. Now, like I said, let's see, that's 1, 2. Let me scroll back down. 3, yeah, 3 so far. And then we have the other one is the American-led intervention in Syria, which started in 2014 and is present to now as well. Now, so that's 4. So that's 4 active wars in the Middle East right now. Let's see. Here's another one is Yemen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I want to just say Yemen, right? But it has an I on the end, so I don't know if that's supposed to be used a certain way. But that civil war started in we've been in that one since 2015 and still in there present, right? So that's 5. So we're up to 5 active wars, right? What is this one? I hope that's not a copy right here. Let me see. No, okay. Here's war number 6, which is the American intervention in Libya, right? And that was started in 2015 until present. Now, so we're up to 5 active deals going on, right? I know that there's more going on than what I see here because we are involved in a lot of different things, right? And you know what's funny is that like Wikipedia has it where they show who's involved, who else is involved and stuff like that, right? So say for instance, okay, sorry. So say for instance, American-led intervention in Syria, it says the United States, Syrian Democratic Forces, you know, so they have these different people, right? And then we have other countries that are also involved, like the United Kingdom, France, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Jordan, Denmark, Netherlands, um, let's see, Libyan. You know, we have a bunch of people in here, and it says Turkey, Turkey-backed rebels, and then Israel limited in, involvement against I don't know whatever that word is. I don't know. It's a word. Okay, so that's what it has, right? Because say for instance, the Yemen. I want to say it's Yemen. So the Yemen war, we're actually, we're in it, but we're limited, right? Because right here it says United States limited involvement, supporting the coalition and contributing to. I'm dumb. Nope. I'm not gonna try that. Kuwait? No, Kuwait. It might be Kuwait. No. No. Like I said, I'm gonna chop that shit all the way up, right? You know, you're gonna think I'm on Fruit Ninja, chopping up these words like they're fruit. But we have a lot of different wars going on right now, right? And you know, and as I was rolling through it, I actually seen the one for Iran as well, right? Now, so for instance, we were, let's see, it's called the Tanker War from 1987 to 1988. It was United States against Iran. It said the U.S. Navy sank several ships and damages Iranian military installations used to attack U.S. and U.S. allied civilian ships. The U.S. Navy vessel USS Falcon, I don't know, shoots down civilian Iran Air Flight 655, killing all 290 passengers among with 66 children. Iran-Iraq war ends in August 1988, following the UN enforced of a ceasefire. So that looks like the only one that I see like Iran's in that particular side, like on the enemy side. But I don't see him really like an ally. That's for sure. Like I'm trying to look through here because they have them by date, right? So they have them by date. You know, because it says in 1986, which is the year I was born, it was United States against Libya, and it says we won that one. And then again, it says in bombing in Libya. Let's see, failed Libyan missile response. Let's see. I don't know how he says his name. Gaddafi? Some Gaddafi survives that one, though. So, I mean, we're constantly got all these conflicts overseas, right? I mean, and we're constantly fighting over there, getting involved in a lot of their shit, but they say that it's helpful, but they also say it's not. I mean, who am I to say? I really don't know. So a lot of this stuff has been going on well before I was born. So, or right around the time I was born and stuff like that. So my ties to what it means for them to be so with a potential another war, right? But I'm not too concerned about Iran for the most part, right? Because, like I said, I think Donald Trump has a plan for them. I mean, he came out and spoke earlier today. He was pretty frank, pretty, like, relatively short-winded. he didn't speak for very long. I think it was like 9 minutes total that of the speech that he gave, and like he really didn't go into it too far, right? Because at the same time, regardless of what's going on with Iran, the fact of the matter is that eventually whatever happens is going to have to come to a stop, right? So even if we do all this stuff and they retaliate and then we retaliate and then so on and so on, eventually it has to come to a stop. So you don't want to dig in too hard on them, because we don't want to continue a continuous war out there in Iran. Now, do I think that they're going to stop for a long period of time? No, I think they're stopping for now. Really what it was is I think they were trying to flex a little bit, because I mean, how else do you bomb an airbase and not kill any people, right? I mean, how you send that many bombs across and not kill like at least a handful of people? So maybe there were like warnings, maybe they were like showing other countries like, oh, we stood up against the United States. Doesn't mean that they won against the United States, but they saying you stood up against the United States is almost as valuable out there as if you were to win against the United States, because that's really what how they're probably looking at it. Now, what else we got going on? Now, there was a thing. Okay, so I had seen something. It was on McDonald's. It was a fast food menu items with a cult following. But I don't know. It's probably talking about the Big Mac. Now, talking about fast food. Now, I heard that Taco Bell is going to start reducing the antibiotics in their beef by 25% by 2025, right? So they're going to try. That's what they said they're going to try to do, is reduce the antibiotics in their meats by 2025 by 25%. They said McDonald's said the same thing, but they started a year ago. Now, I've heard stories about antibiotics, right? I heard that animals that have high amounts of antibiotics, when you consume them, it actually causes the humans to become immune to the antibiotics. So that's a very big concern, right? Because look at some of these diseases that are forming into other stuff, right? They're like transforming, they're adapting to treatment and stuff like that, to where they're becoming even worse. Now, what other kind of stories we got going on? So we have still we have the fire in Australia. I don't know exactly how I got started, and I didn't realize it had been burning for so long, but I heard that last year they arrested over 200 and something people for arson out there in Australia. As I said before, that Australia is a big ass fucking desert, right? I mean, pretty much. And I was looking at the map of Australia, and almost 90% or even 95% of its cities are on the coast, right? There really isn't much, or there ain't very much in the middle, you know? So, I mean, I'm hoping that they got some of the animals out. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, they're little animals. I mean, they'll get away. They'll figure things out. Hey, Tony Hogan, you're from the Gun Squad. Hell yeah, I appreciate you coming by here, man. You know, I was just talking on a couple of things that's going on in the world, and what I was saying was that I was letting people know, man. You know, my chat's open to do whatever you like. What it is because I like the conversations to shift sometimes. And I like people to express themselves on the chat, right? Really what it is that it should be on your mind, right? And you just want to get it off. Like, you just want to get all these different things off your mind, and having a place to vent it and not worrying about what people think about what you're venting out. That's always nice. Now, you already know you know me from the gun squad. I've been there for a while. I haven't been there lately. I've been really busy, and my presence in other people's chats has kind of decreased a little bit. But um, really, you already know I speak my mind. I enjoy other people speaking their minds. I encourage that, right? Um, I've told many people before that I see things from sometimes I see things from both sides of the field, but at the same time, we have to call out the bullshit when we see it, right? Either on one side or the other, right? It doesn't really matter. I mean, bullshit is bullshit regardless. But at the same time, we do have our principles and our standards because it's almost like a double-sided sword, right? You can get cut on both sides. It doesn't really matter, you know. But for the most part, we this is I've had a couple of lives this year so far, right? And I think they've gone pretty well. Conversations were great. I had a couple Gun Squad members come by a few times as well, showing some support, and I appreciate that. Now they know who they are, and I had some people that I've run across over time come in here and chat with me as well. Now, the most important part of this year is just realizing that, things are going to get worse before they get better, right? And because it's an election year, things are really going to get crazy. You're talking about people throwing people under the bus, people doing shady shit to people. That's going to increase, right? Look how what was it? Bernie Sanders went after Joe Biden the other day, right? So what's the name went after Biden because they're doing the Iowa caucus or whatever. I don't know. They're doing some shit in Idaho or Iowa or whatever, right? And he was talking shit beforehand. Now, they're gonna get more cutthroat with each other because that's what progressives do, right? They're gonna pick at each other's flaws. They're gonna try to point fingers at each other and try to say who's better than who's worse than who. But we've seen the track record so far from all of them. I mean, they all stand on the same fucking side of the fence. But the things that they're trying to push on us are ridiculous. A lot of the shit that we don't stand for, but yet they believe that we do, or they act like we do, and we don't, right? I hate to say like all Americans want this or Americans want that, Americans want that, but you don't know what the hell we want, right? It's not like you associate with Republicans. You Democrats don't know what a Republican wants. Wait until they get to the debate in Iowa and the gloves are going to come off. Yeah, because this is the year. This is the year that they pick whoever they're going to want to run. So they're going to have to be ruthless because if they're going to try to go against Donald Trump, they're going to try to find the most ruthless and someone as far left as they can find. Right? So they're going to want, it's got to be the trifecta, right? It's got to be far left ideas but ruthless enough to talk shit to Trump. But they don't stand a chance. And I had said that so for instance when we were talking about Pelosi and stuff like that holding on to the articles of impeachment, and they said that she can possibly hold on to them indefinitely, but you already know that if she doesn't turn them over, Donald Trump isn't impeached. She's not impeached until you turn them over to the Senate. Now really what she's trying to do is some of these senators are, I believe they're up for re-election for this year, right? So at the end of this year, some of these senators and stuff like that are up for re-election, and a couple of them are retiring. Now, what she's trying to do is she's wanting to hold on to these articles of impeachment until the end of the year. Their message has gone too far left, especially with the sham impeachment. Yes, and that's crazy that they've gone so far left. I'm not an old person. I'm not old. but I remember Democrats weren't always like that, right? Maybe that's just the view that I seen growing up, but they weren't always like that. There's a Democratic person who's supposed to be running Bloomberg, right? The one who just popped in, and he is flooding the airways with his ads, right? Apparently, him and Donald Trump are both putting ads in for the Super Bowl. I don't even know nothing about Bloomberg, but all I know is that he is throwing a lot of money to try to beat and catch up with a lot of these other candidates, right? But I have been seeing a lot of Bloomberg shit, right? And he talks a lot of shit. He was talking shit about the shooting in Texas, right? When that guy shot that dude with the shotgun, right? Bloomberg said, well, I'm glad that he saved lives, but he should have left it up to the police. Right? But if he wouldn't have saved the people's lives by killing that guy, and that guy was able to walk around the church and kill all those people, we'll be hearing them on the news talking about we need more gun control. And that's what they do. They just kind of go, oh, well, we need gun control anytime that there's a shooting. But you know what? There's shootings in the hood all the time. There's shootings that go on that no one ever talks about in the first place, right? They don't talk about the non-gun owners who are involved in these gun shootings and stuff like that, right? They're not proposing tougher criminal acts on people who are accused of using their guns for mass shootings or for effects that are inhumane, right? So, like, say for instance, they're not saying, okay, well, instead of giving you life in prison for committing a mass shooting, we're giving you the death penalty. See, a lot of states have ruled out death penalty. Right, they ruled it out, or they don't do death penalties anymore, and if they do the death penalties, you can live for like 10 years, 15 years waiting to die. And so, I think that if you are in a mass shooting, you should be sent to death almost immediately, right after the trial, right? I mean, you really don't need a trial if you've been caught shooting up a fucking place, right? You don't need a fucking big ass trial. People know what you've done. It's not a secret. But if you are, if someone shoots up the place, and they kill a bunch of people, then they should be sent to death, right? And I'm not talking about waiting a year. I'm talking about within a few months or even quicker. After the judge rules. But I mean, they're not talking about making it worse for people who are committing these crimes. Nobody's scared to go to jail anymore. I mean, they treat jail like it's a freaking day camp. I mean, even though jail is not a place you want to be, so anybody who's ever been to prison that would say, hey, look, jail is a fucking motherfucker. But really, I mean, people aren't scared. Well, a lot of these people aren't scared to go to jail. They don't care. They'll hurt people to push their agendas. Look at that far left guy that fucking threw those cocktails or whatever, Molotov cocktails at that detention center, right? I mean, what happens to him? What if he would have killed a few people? Then what? He stands so strongly on the left that he was willing to kill people to show that he hates what the right is doing. And they call us extreme. They call people who stand with Donald Trump or stand with Republicans and stuff like that extremist and hateful and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot more of the hate is coming from the other side. Now, I get it. You gotta fight for what you believe in, and that's what they're trying to push. But I mean, eventually we're going to have to draw a line between what they're doing is legitimate and it's fair for them to do and fair for them to say, and then almost declaring them as terrorists, right? I mean, you can't go around terrorizing the streets and stuff like that and think that that's okay, regardless of if you're on the left or the right, right? If you're going out on the streets and just to inflict fear onto others and stuff like that, I mean, come on, now, really? You're no different than a terrorist. Like the Antifa group and stuff like that. So, the fact that, like, say for instance, when San Francisco ruled that the NRA was a terrorist organization, really, come on now, who really believes that the NRA is a terrorist organization? But yet, whenever you tell them, well, put down the Antifa group as a terrorist organization, they'll say no, right? Or they won't comment. You say put down these gangs as terrorist organizations, and they'll say no, or won't say nothing about it. They keep trying to make things tougher for law-abiding citizens, and I mean, who is it really affecting? Because what is their end goal? What are you trying to turn everyone into criminals? You're trying to increase your power over the people. But see, that's the thing, is that they're doing it in pieces, right? They're oh, well, if we make adjustment here, we're making a little adjustment there, and another little adjustment here, and another adjustment here, that before they know it, they've already given up almost everything they have. And that's what they're doing to us, right? They're trying to get us to give up everything we have, piece by piece. If you don't believe me, look at what they're doing to the Second Amendment. Now, I get the concepts, and I've talked to numerous people about the Second Amendment, and I tell them I get the concept of some of these laws. But you remember whenever they were talking in front of Congress, and they were saying nothing is above the Constitution, right? Nothing, no law is bigger than the Constitution, right? The Constitution is the law of the land, right? Now, when it came up to when it comes to the Second Amendment, we're passing laws to almost trump the land of the law of the land, right? We have different things to prevent the capabilities of people to have their Second Amendment right. We have laws that prevent people from keeping their right for the Second Amendment. We have the First Amendment is under attack. We have people getting fired from their jobs for what they say. We got people that are attacked in the streets for what they say. We got people that are, if you say anything that one particular group finds offensive, then you have to apologize to that group. They want you to give up everything you've ever worked for, and then and stomp you into the dirt, and then and never let off the gas on you until they feel like they have what they want, right? And how is that any different from these terrorist organizations, right? This mindset. That's the reason why a lot of these people support some of these organizations, right? That's why ISIS got such a big jump in people. That's why Antifa's grown so big. If you look at some of these organizations, you can tell by the way that they're acting, and they're acting just like these organizations, these groups that go around using fear and terror and force to try to make people bend to their will. And see, these Democrats in office, they're not going to stand with them, right? They're not going to say, yes, I'm part of this group, or yes, I'm supporting this group. No, they're not going to say that, but they're also not going to say that they're not with them. They're not saying, oh, I'm not with this group, I'm not supporting this group. They're just going to be like, oh, maybe, and they'll change the subject and try to divert off of it. But, I mean, that kind of stuff goes on all the freaking time. And, we're getting tired of it. A lot of us are getting tired of this politic game that goes on back and forth, this cat and mouse, but the only difference is the mouse isn't real and the cat's just wasting everyone's time. Now, because you can call the Democrats cats because the motherfuckers, they don't give a shit. They just do stupid shit for no reason, right? They don't have a purpose. They're just doing the shit. They say it's all for progress, but I mean, when do you draw a line between progress and takeover, right? That eventually everything that you're progressing to is going to have to keep progressing and progressing and progressing, and it's almost like the infinity symbol, right? Where it's just a continuous fucking loop. Like regardless, you're just going to have to keep eating away at yourself to keep moving forward, but you'll never really ever meet the end. Because in a straight line, at least you have a starting point and you have an end. And then infinity symbol, you don't have that. You have just go. You had a starting point, but you ate it. You don't know where the end of it, where the starting point is anymore. But yeah, I mean that kind of stuff. When I started talking about that kind of stuff, like it's very depressing, right? It's very depressing that we have people here in the United States, born and raised, that just hate they hate everything that we people stand for, right? That they hate us gun owners. They hate people who like to be with certain groups. They hate how we feel that the United States is better than any other country. They hate the idea that we're better than other countries. Now, just because we're better doesn't mean that we should go around just fucking trashing everybody, right? But at the same time, I mean, we are what we are, right? We worked very hard. We're still a young country in the most part, right? I mean, we're not like super young, but we're younger than some of these countries that we deal with on a regular basis, and they show us more respect than people who live here. Maybe because they got deals that need to be made, right? So since they got deals that need to be made, they're going to, fucking play ball, right? And we've grown so big that our influence is felt around the world. And you know what? I've looked at the history on a lot of things that we do here in the United States, and sometimes you look at some of the fuckery we've done to other countries, and we say like, fuck it though. I mean, this is our country. It's our country, and we're gonna back our country. We had presidents that made decisions that we didn't like, but we backed our presidents. And see, Donald Trump is one of the first presidents I've ever seen that has been hated so bad that that there's people not wanting to back this president who want to see his fall so bad. But you know what? I know that people will say that during the Obama administration, people hated him and wanted him to fail. But look at how Obama was handled, and look how Donald Trump is being handled. I mean, it's two different sides of a coin, man. I mean, if you had a scale and you had to weigh out how people are being treated, and you weigh out Obama and you weigh out Donald Trump, and you look at the difference, you're like, man, they really hate fucking Obama. I mean, hate Trump. They almost hate Trump more than they hate Bush. Right? And I remember, because I was still a teenager when Bush first got elected, and when he got elected, everybody was talking shit, man. They call him stupid. How he liked to do cocaine and drink and drive, and how the only reason why he was in place is because of his dad and his family ties, and when he got into this war with Iraq, and it was just because he wanted to impress his dad, because his dad was in the war with Iraq. Or he won the war in Iraq. I don't know, right? I don't remember. That's still relatively before my time. So there's a lot of things that I still don't know. But I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, you know, fuck, man, golly. Um, but yeah, nah, I really don't. I just really don't understand, right? And some people might say that it's brainwashing, right? You know, they're brainwashing the masses, and I can't disagree with it, right? I can't disagree with it because there's a possibility that it is true. Because I like conspiracy theories, right? So I like when they tell all these different stories about what the government has been doing right, where they've been testing mind control, where they've been testing these microwaves on people, you know, different things, right? And I'm like, well, you know, that's interesting. That's interesting to me, but yet the fact that they're using that on uh, the citizens of the United States is kind of crazy, right? That you would use those same effects on your own people. Now, there's some programs or some things that are going on that I watch. You know, Agenda 21. I've watched, you know, the whole 5G stuff. I've watched a lot of different deals, right, on that kind of stuff. And, you know, like I said, it's interesting but scary at the same time, right? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. Ow. Okay, so, real quick, whew, I'm not winded. I told you I got a headache. I got a fucking headache. It's fucking killing me. But, yeah, no, and my voice is kind of, I'm like dry, right? Like my fucking throat is dry. All right, let's put that in there. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, right? Look, I I may not have a very big audience, but I'm still gonna speak my mind, right? I'm still gonna let people know how I feel about certain things. And if they end up coming by and checking it out later, that's cool. If they come by and check it out now, that's cool. But really, what it is I wanted people like me who aren't all the way on the right, who are upset with the people on the left, who just want to see this country continue to grow and get better and show everyone with a certain level of respect and figure out how the hell we can continue to move forward. I wanted those kind of people to come in here and just express themselves, right? But I left it open for the people who I don't like as well to come in and be like, hey, I disagree, this and this and that, right? But, you know, I mean, everyone has the right to speak their mind, right? And I'm not going to suppress it. I'm not going to suppress it. Say what you want to say. I'm just not always going to agree. Because, for instance, I'm watching this stuff with Iran, right? I'm watching this stuff, you know, how, you know, Iran fucking hates us. Iran's, you know, death to America, that kind of shit, right? You know, I've seen where people from these other countries fucking can't stand us. But there's people from those countries that do love us, that do want us around, that do admire what we do here and want their countries to be like ours. But you know, it's kind of hard to do that when you have this dictator or you have these people in charge of you who are willing to kill you, who are willing to suppress you and keep you from your growth. And, you know, that's what makes America so fucking great, right? They're like, hey, look, regardless if you're on the left or regardless if you're on the right, grow as big as you want to grow. You know, your only limitations are your own, right? Because you can be whatever you want to be. And some people will say, oh, well, you can't always be what you want to be if you're this color, if you're this, or whatever, right? And you can argue the fact is like there are people of opposite colors doing really well for themselves because what they did is they took the time and they made the sacrifices and they made the moves that had to be done so that they can have what they want, right? Because if you look at some of these rich and famous people that's moved up in the world, the very people that they hate, right? and they moved up. They didn't have everything that they wanted either, though, right? Some of them started from almost nothing. And I'm not saying every rich person started from nothing, because some people were born into money, and I don't hold people that are born into money against them, right? I mean, if I eventually make it to be a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever the case may be, right? I might come up with a new invention or a new idea or software or something, right? I might even, what if I get to where people are paying me hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak in front of people, or whatever, right? But if I ever make it really well, and then I leave stuff to my kids, or my options open up certain windows for them, I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm not mad at them for that, right? And I tell people all the time is that, look, we made them motherfuckers rich. We made them rich. We put money in their pockets. And then we hate them? How do we hate the people that we've made rich? We love their products, but we hate that they have all the money. We love what they're doing for us in the country, or giving us all jobs, but we hate you. There's a love and hate relationship between companies and people, but that's because we know we have to work to make a living, even when we don't want to work. Same way that companies would like to keep people working for them, but also know that if it affects the bottom line, they have to get rid of you. So it's a love and hate relationship. There's ups and there's downs and all arounds. You know, that's circle of life, right? That's the world. You know, we're always moving forward until the world goes backwards, and then we'll be going backwards. We'll be going forward, but backwards, right? I mean, that's all it's all about, right? Moving forward, man. Moving forward, moving past this shit, not allowing it to get it, get us all riled up all the time, right? Not everything should outrage us. Not everything is an outrage, but outrage sells. Right? Outrage sells. If I was to outrage the people in the audience and stuff like that, and I get you coming back and stuff like that, the people who are enjoying me outraging the people in the audience, they're probably going to pay me money. They're going to come and visit more often. They're just going to come and see me piss off other people, right? And the people who are outraged, they're going to keep coming back to see what I'm talking about so they can be outraged again and try to shut me down or whatever the case may be, right? Outrage sells. That's the reason why the news tries to keep you in an outraged state. Keeps you coming back. Keeps you coming back to see what the hell they got going on. See, I wasn't always into the news. I wasn't always into media. I wasn't always into these different things. I literally had a Facebook account when it first opened, and I probably posted like a few things, right? Stuff I see, jokes or whatever, memes or whatever, and I'll repost them or something. YouTube, I've only been doing YouTube or looking at YouTube for like a year or so. I started this account in like 2011, and I didn't post, didn't do anything with it. It was just there. And I think it only started this channel here because my Google account, right? Because I have a couple of different emails. Now, Twitter, I have a Twitter account, but I don't use it. I don't use it because I don't understand it. Like, maybe I'm weird like that, right? I don't understand Twitter. I don't really like it. It's not my go-to thing. It's a weird platform. I don't know. All right. Everybody loves Twitter. And then I don't use Snapchat. I use Instagram every now and then, but I use the Instagram because I like to go and look at like cars and guns, and there's a couple of news things, right? Like I got Donald Trump on Instagram. Like when he posts different things and stuff like that, I look at that. But like when it comes to social media, I just never really was connected like that. And because I wasn't watching movies, shows and stuff like that, and the news, I really didn't get anything, right? Like I I wasn't really in it, so I could never really pick a side, right? But as of late, and just the way things have been going, it was like almost like it was time. Like it's time for you to get involved. It's time for you to stand up and stand against some of these people who are affecting your life, right? Because I used to believe that my vote didn't matter, right? That, politics is for the rich. But the rich aren't affected by laws and change and stuff like that. Because they're always going to adapt. They're always going to stay rich because they know how to stay rich. But for us, if we don't say something, if we don't do something, if we're not involved, at least to an extent, you can't then complain about how things are going in the world, right? You can't say, hey, this president is fucking screwing us. Did you vote for this president? No. Did you vote for the opposite side? No. Well, then what the fuck are you complaining for? You have to ride with the way it goes, right? Just like getting on a roller coaster ride, you got to go through all the ups and downs, but your ass is gonna have to sit there and go with the ride of things, right? Because you opt in to just see what you didn't pick a ride to ride. You just told your friends, I'm gonna ride with y'all. And so your friends picked a ride for you. The people who are around you picked a ride for you to ride. And so that's why, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't really into it. And now that I am, I'm encouraging it. I'm like, hey, you get out and vote. And even people who are voting against my interest, right? I'd be like, at least get out there and vote. It's your vote. Use it. Use it because it's yours. So only one thing that's yours, that regardless of what happens, you can say, hey, I tried. I voted or whatever, right? Now, but I remember whenever I was my first time voting, right, that I was at a company and we were talking politics and stuff like that, right? Obviously, that's a rule breaker. Don't talk politics at work. But when I started talking more Republican, I found out how everyone I was working with were Democrats. And I was like, well, when I go to vote, I know that there's 10 people here that are going to be voting against my interest. But I was like, maybe here I might be outnumbered, but somewhere else they're outnumbered. And I'm like, at least, you add their outnumbered amount with my little singular minority, and eventually it would add up. And that's what we're hoping for, right? We're hoping when we go vote that it adds up, that that you get the votes that you need to get the outcome that you're wanting. But I understand this is that when you go out and vote, don't jump ship, right? Don't jump ship on whatever you voted for. If you voted Democrat, don't jump ship on your Democrats. If you vote Republicans, don't jump ship on your Republicans, right? Stand up for your decision. Now, if I vote Trump and tomorrow in 2020, and then in 2021 he goes and does something fucking retarded, right? Then I'm gonna go, well, I voted for him. Fuck it. I mean, I live with that. That was my decision. I voted for him. It is what it is. And the same thing goes for the other way, right? It's like, own up for y'all's decision. Own up if, like, I mean, it's just a weird concept, right? It's just a weird concept that I think that you should stand up for your group. You can jump sides after the fact, right? So, say for instance, you voted for this other person, you're like, oh, I thought they were going to do great, I'm changing my party, I'm no longer this party, I'm going to this other party, and that can be accepted, but you still have to still say that I voted for this, I did this, I did whatever went into effect. Because look at the guy from New Jersey, right? The representative from New Jersey who switched from Democrat to Republican, and he's one of the ones that voted for not going forward with the impeachment when they had the vote. And he went ahead and switched parties. Like, he switched parties after the vote. Like, literally right after the vote, he switched parties. He's like, I'm no longer going to be in the Democratic Party, right? And went to the Republican Party. But yet he still has to take responsibility for everything that he put his name by, right? And people, whenever he goes back to his state and his constituents are talking to him and looking at him, you know, he's still going to have to answer for anything that he voted for that his constituents didn't like. But yeah, I mean, you have to look at it like that, right? But we've just seen so many attacks on ideals that were put into us over a lifetime, right? Family, support, children, different things like that. And we stand by those ideas that were taught to us at young ages. And these people that are now coming up, and they just kind of wanted to scrap it all, right? They want to scrap the family. They want to scrap having children. They want to destroy your own personal growth. They want to take away a lot of your rights as citizens, and they all say that it's all in the name of improving this planet. They say, oh, it's improving the United States, improving this planet. But you know what? What makes us great is those very things that you're trying to destroy. And those things are what other countries are trying to come here for. Is to have those same opportunities that we have. But we try to encourage them, like, hey, look, stay where you're at. Just do what you got to do to kind of, point your country in the right direction, right? You don't all have to come here. I mean, the country's, I can't say that it's not big enough, and I can't say that it is big enough, but if you want what we have, you can have that where you're at. You just have to fight for it, make certain sacrifices the same way that, certain sacrifices are made here, right? So that's why I say, like, hey, we have to get involved, right? We have to get involved. We have to stand up against things that we don't like. I've told people numerous times, I don't like late-term abortions. And they keep pushing that idea that it's okay to have these late-term abortions. At the award show the other day, they were talking about the right to choose. You know what? I've said this in my feminist video, and I'm going to say it here too. Look, you're not using your right to choose, because if you say you had the right to choose, you had the right to choose to use birth control, and you didn't do it. You chose certain things, and you didn't put them into effect. Yeah, you sure did have a right to choose. Now, so when they say that, like that actress lady that said the reason why she's where she's at is because she basically killed her fucking baby and focused on her career, and now she's standing there pregnant in front of everybody and saying that, oh, it's a woman's right to choose and this and that, you should stand by that. And you're like, wait, woman, you're fucking pregnant right now. So the baby before didn't matter, but the baby now matters. The baby before was just a parasite and was this worthless thing that's growing inside you that has no life and has no soul in it, and it's just a piece of fucking meat. But the one that you have now is different. The one you have now is worth keeping. The one you have now is precious to you. Because now you have millions of dollars or a good income coming in because of your acting career or whatever the case may be, right? So you basically, what you're trying to tell these people is that if you're poor and you don't have wealth and you don't have all these different means to take care of these children at that present moment, then you shouldn't be having them. But we've seen time after time is that some of these poor parents and stuff like that raise better children than the rich parents with all their money and all their fame. And so if you look at them, these people are so out of touch. So they actually believe that poor people should not be having kids. Now, I can't say that all poor people should not be having kids. Some of these people, it's almost like an encouragement, right? So say for instance you have a kid, right? You don't have a whole lot of money, you don't have a whole lot of stuff, right? But then you have this kid and you're like, I have to make it. I have to work harder. I have to succeed. I have to buy a home. I have to continue to have a high paying job. I have to give this child everything that either I didn't have growing up or have the things that this child needs to survive comfortably. So then sometimes they can give you that drive that you needed to push you to the next level in life. But and a lot of times, and I'm not like I said, and a lot of times some parents, they really don't care, right? They're young or they're poor and they have these fucking kids because they're hoping there's a fucking check that they can fucking get. And you know, it's a very fucked up idea that they think, right? But it's an idea that they have, right? That it's okay. But I mean, what gives her the right? Well, nah, I was gonna say what gives her the right to go up there and say this shit, because you know, obviously everyone has the right to say what the fuck they want. It's just because she has a bigger platform, because she's famous, because people know who she is. They cling to her view and think that that's the view that they should have too, right? Like I said in my feminist video, is that no one's telling these women what kind of depression they're going to feel when they kill their own baby. What it does to the body. Right? You know, until you're killing your own, you know, how can you support it? You got these women who's never been pregnant, right? They never been pregnant at all, out there marching saying it's a woman's right to choose. What the fuck are you out there marching? You don't have no kids. You shouldn't even care. Women's always had the right to choose what to do with their babies because they've been doing it for hundreds of years. You know, let's take it all the way back to the fucking coat hanger. Let's take it all the way back to pushing a woman down the stairs when she does when she wants to have an abortion. You know, a hit with a doorknob, right? You know, you stand in front of the door and you let somebody sling the fucking door open and hit you with the doorknob, and there goes your baby. You look at, they would try to use alcohol and stuff like that to basically poison it, so that they can go into a miscarriage. Not having children, they've been doing that for centuries. This is not a new thing. You know, so it's not like these women now these days are going to prison for having an abortion. You're not going down to the abortion clinic and you're going, hey, I want to have an abortion. Oh, you're having an abortion? Here, you're getting fucking 10 years in prison. Oh, hey, here, you got 2 years in prison for killing this baby. But what's crazy, though, is that they'll treat somebody who accidentally kills someone else's baby like a hardened criminal. Like they just intentionally, or sometimes it is intentionally, but like if they went intentionally out to kill your fucking baby, like, you know, y'all get into an argument, you get into a fight, you fall while y'all arguing or something like that, and you lose the fucking baby, you have a miscarriage, then next thing you know, this person's looking at jail time for the death of your baby. But yet you can go into these offices and kill it and then just go, oh, well, it's okay. So you're playing both sides of the field. Now, I've also stated before is that you would think that Republicans and certain people would say, yeah, you should have these abortions because it keeps you from putting these parents on government assistance and stuff like that. So that's an idea, right? You might go, oh yeah, you would think that they would stand with it, but really what it is that everyone knows that a baby is alive regardless, right? I mean, but you had an opportunity. You had an opportunity in the very first stages of either being pregnant or before you even got pregnant to keep from getting pregnant. But now you keep pushing. It's like, oh, we'll push it to 3 months. Oh, we'll push it to 6 months. Oh, we'll push it to 9 months. Oh, we'll push it till you push that motherfucker out, and we'll wrap that little bastard up and just say the word, and I'll fucking put a pillow over the baby, and you won't have to worry about it no more. So that mindset that women aren't getting the opportunity to choose their outcome of their fraternity is false. They've always had control over the outcome. And I've never seen a woman get sent to prison for killing her baby. I've never seen, or because I don't think there's any women that's gone to prison for killing their babies. Like, I haven't heard any news stories. But that's just what I'm saying, is that we're constantly talking about people not having certain rights, people not having certain abilities to do certain things. Now, if you're going to talk about people not having the ability to have certain things, then you have to look back and see the real history of when people couldn't have things, right? Early slavery days after slavery ended, or certain times like that, right? When people actually couldn't have things. But this country has grown so much that those people who couldn't have things now. They're growing just like everyone else, and some of them are failing just like everyone else. That's just how it is. Some people fail and some people make it. But so for saying that some people don't have rights and stuff like that is stupid, because everyone has the same rights. We even give rights to illegals, right? We give them the right to a trial. We give them, certain privileges afforded to them because they're here. Even if they're going to kick them out. Even if they're like, hey, man, you got to go. They'll still go, hey, you can still come to court. We'll still provide you food or whatever while you're waiting. Whatever the case may be, right? So we have to get out of this idea that things aren't fair. So, because some people will say, hatred, this and that, keeping these particular types of people down, keeping this particular race down, keeping this particular sex down is going on. I can't say that it's not, and I can't say that it is, because you have people out there fighting for certain things that have nothing to do with them. Like, for instance, if I'm not being kept down because I'm a man, or because I'm Hispanic, or because I look a certain way, or whatever, right? Then why would I be out there marching? Why would I be out there saying that we need equality amongst this particular race or this particular thing? Because it's not affecting me personally, because I'm growing just fine. So then you look at it like this, like, okay, now if it is affecting you and you're like, oh man, I've been kept down for this and this and this and that, right? And you find another group of people that are the same like you that's being kept down, then I can understand that, right? Because you actually have an experience of being kept down. But now everybody wants to be a victim, so they will push to say that they're being kept down too. So, I mean, it's a lot of craziness, right? That it's just, why? Why do you want to be a victim? What real joy do you think you're going to get out of being the victim? So it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me that this continues to go on, right? I don't know, right? I don't know. It's just crazy to me. How things have shaped out over time. Because it wasn't always like this. So I don't know. It's just maybe we can figure it out. Maybe we can take the time to discuss these things and figure out what we can do to try to help change the trajectory that we're on, right? That maybe we can slow down this movement that has gone so far left and gone so far out of control that maybe we can move forward. And you know, you have to understand about moving forward is we're gonna take this one step at a time, right? One step at a time. Don't concern yourself with what things that you cannot control, right? Because there's no point in getting all stressed out and all worried about things that you cannot control. Now, if you can control it, if you can contribute to the control of this particular thing, then get involved, right? See what you can do to help. But just understand, I seen a thing from this Democratic person that said, people, you need to vote not in your best interest this year. Vote against Donald Trump. Why would you put that as your ad? Why would you put that as your ad to say, do not vote in your best interest? That is like telling the people that it is in their best interest to vote Donald Trump. And you're saying to them, vote against your best interest. Let's get this president out of here. So that's what you're saying, is that it's my best interest to vote Republican this year and not vote Democratic. Because that's pretty much what you're saying. I mean, I probably get what they were trying to say, right? Don't vote for just any Democrat. Vote for a Democrat that you think is going to get Donald Trump out. But at the same time, I mean, you left it open. You left it open for interpretation. And that's really what we're going to do. We're going to interpret that motherfucker. We're going to say, hey, you left it open. You said it was in my best interest to vote a Republican this year, and that's what I'm going to do. Fuck it. You said to do it, I'm going to do it. Right? That'd be funny. But they'll be like, I don't know what happened. Everything was looking good. We had the support and stuff like that. All of a sudden, they just all fucking flipped. They all flipped the script. What happened? And they're all looking back and they're going, you know what? It might have been that ad I put out. It might have been that ad when I was saying vote against their best interest, and they realized it's in their best interest not to vote these Democrats in the office. But, yeah. So, yeah, no, I hope, what's going? Yeah, I was texting somebody and see my deal was going. But, yeah, no, so, this one's not going to go for much longer, right? I've just wanted to come by, show everyone some love, give everybody some thoughts, and it has been a good chat today, right, about some of the topics that are going on in the world. And you already know, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share this out with your friends. Let everyone know that I'm going live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to connect with everyone, and let everyone know that we're all trying to grow. We're all trying to grow and move forward and, just find our place in this world. And there's no right or wrong way to get there. It's just not every way leads you there, right? Sometimes you hit a dead end. But admit when you get to the dead end, that you made it to the dead end. Do a Yui, move forward, and, you know, hope for the best. Because that's all you can do is hope for the best. We have all the same goals, man. We have all the same goals, and we can get there. So, for the most part, this has been the Jose Hall Show. And I've had a hell of a day. And I'll see y'all Friday. Oh, wait. I clicked the wrong button. No. See, I'm already messing it up. Alright, guys. Y'all enjoy the day. I'll see y'all next time. Oh, God dang it. I had it, and then I didn't have it. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I messed it up. So y'all gonna get to see me messing this thing up. Okay. Holla at y'all. Bye.